Welcome back to Sip Shade TV, where we sip slow and shade responsibly. Now let's get into this mess. So y'all, I know y'all been seeing everything going around about the singer David allegedly being arrested in connection to the murder of the girl he claimed to be with. As of right now, reports are saying that he has not been granted bond and is being held in custody until his hearing on Monday. Again, this is all alleged, but the situation is very serious. And I'm not gonna lie, some people are saying the signs may have already been there. His behavior lately had people questioning things, like he just didn't care. It is also being said that the law enforcement may have been building the case quietly, waiting until they had enough evidence before making any moves. The whole situation just feels off and unsettling. And just to be clear, everything being discussed is alleged. At the end of the day, this is a sad and disturbing situation. And it makes you wonder what could lead someone to something like this and why anyone would try to cover for it.
News here, a major new development involving rising music star David. The LAPD just announcing that the singer has been arrested in connection with the murder of a Southern California teenage girl. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf has been tracking this story for months. He's live in the studio with the latest. Matthew?
Yeah, Phil, this is something that law enforcement sources have been telling me for some time in the last couple of weeks, that today could be coming, and then this arrest, you could say, has been months in the making. LAPD, within the last hour, sending out a short statement on X announcing the 21-year-old singer's arrest. This all comes after the body of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was discovered inside a Tesla trunk at a Hollywood tow yard last September. The car was linked to the singer, whose real name is David Burke. His representatives told authorities that the car had been stolen, but investigators later named him as a person of interest in the weeks that followed. Police have not released full details on what led to arrest or possible motive. I've called David's attorney and LAPD to see what more information we can get, and we'll keep you updated as we get these new developments that come in.
And so given all the time that went in here, you're assuming that the DA is on board with this arrest and that they're going to announce charges soon?
Yeah, so we just got a message from DA Nathan Hochman, and we could have a press conference as early as tomorrow, but nothing has been announced yet. Again, though, this is something that has been in the making for months, and law enforcement sources have told me that today could be coming any moment.
So we're assuming it's going to be a murder charge.
That's, one could assume, yeah.
Makes sense. All right. Thanks, Matthew.
Breaking news right here at 5:30. You might recognize this picture. That's singer David. The LAPD just announced that they have arrested him for the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The 21-year-old singer, whose real name is David Burke, has been at the center of the investigation since her body was found in a Tesla last September. Police say David's being held without bail. The case will be presented to the district attorney's office on Monday for filing consideration. We will be following this breaking news and have updates throughout the night. That's been a big story we've been following, with rumors of a possible arrest.
It's going to obscure my view from the gate. It's good?
If you try to run or if you try to resist, you will get hit with left feet going. It's going to hurt.
I got you.
If you try to run, we have canine on premises and you will get bit.
I got you. All right, so the gate is locked. Do I open the gate? Sir? Open the gate. It's gonna obscure my view from the gate. It's
If you
good.
try to run or if you try to resist, you will get hit with my feet going. It's gonna hurt.
I got you.
If you try to run, we have canine on premises and you will get bit.
I got you. All right. So the gate is locked. Do I open the gate? Sir, open the gate.
April 23rd, 2025, has been alleged by the complaint. Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time, went to Mr. Burke's house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again. That killer that we have now charged is David Anthony Burke.
He went viral with the hit romantic homicide. Now singer David is charged with the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, nearly 1 year to the day that the teen vanished. Welcome to the Fox 11 News at 5. I'm Christine Devine. David Burke pleaded not guilty today to a litany of charges, including first-degree murder. The 21-year-old is being held without bail. Among the charges, he's accused of luring Rivas Hernandez to her death. The death penalty is on the table for Burke if he's convicted on the capital murder charge. He's facing Fox 11's Rachel Aragon live in downtown LA with more on this. Rachel?
Singer David, once a rising star, now accused and charged with murdering a 14-year-old girl from Lake Elsinore. Today, though, we heard from LA Police Chief as well as prosecutors, and they detailed more about this case and what they say led up to this teen's death.
On behalf of your client, do you waive formal reading of the complaint, advisement of rights, including armed forces and veterans' rights, enter a plea of not guilty, denying any and all special allegations, enhancements, and priors?
Yes, Your Honor. Through his attorney, 21-year-old singer David pleading not guilty to murder in the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. This comes 7 months after a gruesome discovery of the teen's remains. Her body found dismembered and decomposed inside a Tesla at a Hollywood tow yard last September. The car registered to the entertainer's name.
No parent or any human being should have to endure what you've gone through.
Police and prosecutors describing this case as a parent's worst nightmare and revealing more about the two's alleged relationship leading up to the teen's death.
Ms. Rivas was a reported runaway from Riverside County. During the course of our investigation, detectives learned that she had been involved in a sexual relationship with Mr. Burke when she was a minor and he was an adult.
Prosecutors say she was last known to be alive on April 23rd, 2025, when she went to David's home in the Hollywood Hills at his invitation and was
believe happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Now, David isn't just being charged with murder. He's being charged with murder with these 3 special circumstances. Prosecutors say the murder was for financial gain, the victim, Celeste, was a witness to a crime, and that David killed her by means of lying in wait. That means the murder was deliberate.
What their theory appears to be is that David entered into a sexual relationship with an underage girl. At some point, David became concerned, either through the girl or a third party, that this was going to be reported to an investigating agency, and that he then lured her to his house, killed her, and dismembered her to avoid her going to the police.
It's a brutal theory, but the facts are just as brutal when it comes to the murder of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. District Attorney Nathan Hochman says his prosecutors are ready to prove that theory beyond a reasonable doubt.
What makes us confident is the totality of the evidence.
Hochman says forensics evidence, some of it likely from David's Tesla, where Celeste's body was found in 2 cadaver bags, as well as physical and digital evidence, will prove David committed the crime. On top of murder, the 21-year-old singer is also charged with 1 count of mutilation of human remains and 1 count of continuous sexual abuse. Prosecutors say since 2023, David had substantial sexual conduct at least 3 times with Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who again was just 14 when she was murdered.
They have established that there was this long relationship that took place, and that really puts David on the hook here.
Former prosecutor Mary David says from what she saw Hochman present today, she thinks he's building a strong case against David.
There isn't necessarily one smoking gun, but there are just so many pieces that cannot be ignored when you look at the situation overall.
David's legal team says the evidence will clear their celebrity client and that we will vigorously defend David's innocence. R.J. Dreiling is a former prosecutor turned criminal defense attorney.
What I expect the defense to argue is to say, look, you guys had this case since September or October. There's, it's been a long time, and you don't really have the smoking gun. You're just piecing together circumstances rather than telling people how exactly she died and what exactly David did.
Now, if prosecutors do get David convicted with these special circumstances, they could pursue the death penalty when it comes time to sentence. Hochman today did not say if he decided yet if he does want to go down that route. Now, Governor Newsom has signed an executive order halting executions in this state, but that doesn't stop convicted criminals from receiving that sentence. Mark and Michelle.
News moments ago, the family of Celeste Rivas Hernandez has released a new statement after singer David appeared in court yesterday. The family says, quote, "We would like to thank the Los Angeles Police Department and the District Attorney's Office for their hard work. We would also like to thank the people of Lake Elsinore for all of their support. Celeste was a beautiful, strong girl who loved to sing and dance. Every Friday night was movie night, and we spent wonderful times together. We love her very much, and she always told us she loved us. We miss her deeply. All we want is justice for Celeste." The family also released this new photo of the teenager. It comes about 24 hours after David pled not guilty to murdering her. Rivas Hernandez's body was found decomposing in the singer's trunk at a tow yard back in September. David is due back into court on Thursday.
Received the autopsy report from the medical examiner in Celeste Rivas's death, for which David is now charged with her murder. And there are some interesting things, and we talked about this before, that we knew that the coroner had ruled this, the medical examiner ruled this a homicide, but we didn't know the cause of death. And the DA said they were stabbed, there was some kind of sharp instrument was used. Now we know, and what they're saying is there were 2 wounds in particular, and that they believe, and they use the word may, and the word may is going to be really important, which we'll talk about, that they may be penetrating wounds, which would not be wounds to dismember a body.
Right, because of where they are, they believe, is I think the main, and also
and the way they
the
describe
wound
it is
itself.
they describe 2 penetrating wounds, one on the abdomen and one on the chest, and they describe them as, they tell you the depth and the length of these, and they say they have smooth edges. Indication seems to me that some sort of knife was plunged into her, and it left smooth edges.
The key is the length of the wounds. One is 3/4 of an inch, one is 9/16. So this size wound as the penetrative wound. These are
which
not,
is an indication of the length of the blade.
And also a blade that could not dismember a body, right? This would not be the same instrument used to dismember the body.
Now, the body was dismembered. They describe all that in detail, but those types of cuts to take the body apart would be different than
Does the report say anything about the dismemberment or what they believe was used?
They don't say what was used.
No, it does describe it in a lot of detail.
But it's gruesome. So there's a word that's used, may, that it may have been caused by this. The defense is going to jump on that.
Oh, they'll definitely.
Because they're not saying it's conclusive, and it aligns with what we've been hearing, which is they were having a really hard time determining how she died.
Well, look at the passage of time.
As recently as February.
The passage of time to determine this is a long, it's many, many months.
There's also, and it's conflicting, and we still can't quite figure it out, but there are references to finding presumptive positive indications that she had both meth and MDMA in her system.
Although additional screenings showed that to be not detected, but the initial screen said presumptively.
It seems like there were 2 tests taken, 2 tox screens. The initial one detected MDMA and methamphetamine. Subsequently, they did a confirmation test, and it was unclear whether there was MDMA, but methamphetamine, but no sign of MDMA at that second confirmation test.
I mean, ultimately, is that going to matter when you get to trial, like whether or not she was
probably
on
not
any drugs?
Well, they may argue. They may argue it was an overdose. I don't know what they're going to argue, but they'll latch onto what they can.
That's true.
You know what the DA is saying is, we have evidence she threatened David that she would expose their relationship, probably in a text. That's the way they make it seem, and that she goes to David's house on April 23rd, 2025, never to be seen again.
Right.
So now the question: what happened? So the prosecutor is going to say he stabbed her to death, and here are these 2 wounds, and then you're going to have the defense coming out and saying, look, number one, you didn't say conclusively, you're saying may. And this is a reasonable doubt case. Number 2, if it was so clear to you, why 4 months in were you still saying undetermined? So this is going to be a huge part.
And that's the take on it. If you're sipping with me, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because over here, we sip slow, and we definitely share responsibly.